Hello, hello. Today I want to talk with you about how my disability, EDS, affects my style and affects what I wear. To preface this, I want to say that I was recently on the You're So Brave podcast with Aaron and Chase, talking about the intersection of gender and disability. So I'll link that below. And also in one of my previous videos, I got to chat with Jessica Kellgren-Fozard a little bit about how our disabilities might impact our gender presentation, which I will also link below. I mentioned how we both have connective tissue disorders, which can impact things like surgeries, binding, and depending on pain and fatigue, can impact our ability to perform our daily routines in regards to our presentation. I bring this up because my style is pretty fluid and my gender expression is pretty fluid in the way that I dress. And it's important to note that some days, even though I would like to present myself in a certain way, my body / my disability doesn't really allow me to. And I think that this is a big part of the conversations that we had that I left out. So here I am to talk about it a little bit. So I just brought that up because I'm gonna be using the terms feminine and masculine in the way that I perceive my clothes to be feminine and masculine, and my presentation in general. So recently I've had to start wearing a lot more skirts, dresses, and shorts, because the pressure of pants sometimes triggers pain in my knees and myalgia throughout my muscles and my thighs, all over my legs actually, especially if I'm sitting for a long period of time. EDS also makes my skin very fragile, so if I'm wearing jeans with buttons and zippers and it's pressing onto my stomach, I found myself getting not just scarring by imprint, but literal cuts, like bleeding from my flesh because of those zippers and buttons. So it's not that pants are bad all the time, but being that my symptoms are fluid, recently pants have been a little bit harder to wear. So I have quite a few button-up shirts and starting to collect like button-up dresses because sometimes my shoulders hurt too much to raise above my head, and you kind of need to raise your arms above your head in order to get t-shirts on. But with button-ups, I could just fling them on each arm, and that doesn't hurt as much. Oh, one hack with pants actually, one small trick I have is to cut holes at the knees in attempts to relieve the pressure. Oh, let's talk about hacks for a second. You'll find that a lot of the time I wear sunglasses, and that's typically due to chronic migraines, and or sometimes I have sensory overload, which makes even dim lighting sometimes painful. So I'll wear sunglasses indoors sometimes, and that'll be the reason why. Sometimes I can't wear a bra or a chest binder because the straps sometimes will dislocate my shoulders, and the pressure around my ribs can also be very painful. Cool, so let's step back a little bit to the fact that currently pants hurt a lot, and I feel a lot more physically at ease / less in pain when I'm wearing things that don't put pressure on my knees, like skirts, dresses, and shorts. I feel like I've been a little bit forced into them lately by my disability, meaning that there are days that I would truly, very strongly not want to wear a skirt or a dress or present myself as feminine at all, but I still have to wear those items for the sake of my pain levels. Describing this feeling to people who may not relate, I think, is so hard. I've tried to explain it like it feels like you're forced into a uniform that you feel ridiculous in, or an itchy sweater it's just uncomfortable. And it feels like someone else has control over what you're wearing. And it feels like you're being inauthentic. It feels like you can't be yourself. None of that feels absolutely correct. None of that feels like it's hitting the nail on the head at all, but I'm trying. So there's actually some aspects to that isn't emotional at all or about identity at all. One example I have, actually, it's the vice versa. It wasn't that I needed to wear feminine clothing, but actually, so let me just tell you what happened. So I had a wedding to go to, and weddings typically have a very gendered dress code, meaning like women in dresses and heels and men in suits. So I was prepared to abide by the dress code. I had a dress ready and pointy medium-heeled shoes ready, and the day came and my pain levels in my feet were too high. I couldn't get my foot into the shoe. So I had to wear my black clunky orthotic shoes so that I wasn't in high pain levels. Wearing those shoes, I wasn't going to wear the fancy dress that I had prepared. So all of a sudden my entire outfit had to change. I also put on knee braces on top of my pants that I would have to wear that night, and a button up top. So I had to break the gender dress code in order to be comfortable because of my symptoms flaring up. So I guess that's an example of like inability to abide by a certain dress code because of disability versus emotionally what you want to wear. Either way, my disability is in control of how I dress sometimes. In regards to gender identity and gender expression, it has been really frustrating to not be able to present myself in the way that I want. But I've been encouraged by my friend Dan and their company Regimo LA, which is, I believe, a genderqueer, gender fluid fashion line, to kind of really take the reins and not like let my clothes be gendered, but rather put my gender onto the clothes, and like really mix things up, like starting to wear like button-up shirts from the men's section with my skirts and things like that, just like really kind of smashing that glass and being creative and coming up with my own stuff in a way that feels affirming to me, so I don't feel so crummy when my disability dictates what I'm wearing that day. I also want to express that even though it does suck to feel like my disability can dictate what I wear, I am currently working on dealing with that emotional aspect of it, and not getting my heart broken every single time it happens. And there is some cool stuff that comes from it too, like hashtag disability fashion is a thing. There are some choices that I would have never come up with or ever gone through with if it weren't for my disability, and it turns out that they're very fun, excellent, fashionable choices. So I'm really kind of grateful for that my disability kind of expands my mind and it makes me think of creative ways of expressing myself. So it's not all bad. And I'm just trying to see, you know, the good parts of it. All right, so I think I shared a lot today. I'll definitely leave a link for Regimo LA in the description below for you. Definitely check them out, and I will see you eventually. Bye.